Welcome to another fully loaded episode of Speaking of Sports. Thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Jared Slack. This week I'm going to go over the World Series. I'm going to talk about the NBA's opening week of the season. I'm going to give you some NFL talk, highlights, and scores. First off, who could have predicted the Nats would get a 2-0 lead on the Astros? That was a shocker for the majority of the people, including myself. Originally, I thought that Washington could get one, maybe two games at home against the Astros, but that's not what this is looking like right now. Like I said last week, in baseball, it pays to get hot at the right time, and the Nationals' confidence is through the roof right now. They just took out Houston's two best pitchers and on the road, scoring a combined 17 runs. I never thought in a million years that the Nats could potentially sweep the Astros in this World Series, but it's very possible with the Nats going back home for these next few games. Let's go through some interesting stats for a minute. In the 2019 regular season, the Houston Astros have a team batting average of 274 and an on base of above 350, which is very good stats for this team, considering they had six to seven batters batting above or near 300. Okay, now let's go to the postseason. They have a 216 batting average and below a 300 on base. It's actually .292. In translation, the Astros have not been seeing and hitting the ball very well this postseason, with the exception of Jose Altuve. If it wasn't for him, his team would probably be around a 205 batting average. Altuve has the team leading 358 batting average, 19 hits, and 5 home runs in the playoffs. Besides him, Houston has gone absolute cold, while the Nationals have remained to stay on fire. Okay, now on to some NBA talk. The season opener with the Raptors and Pelicans opened on Tuesday night. Unfortunately, there was no Zion. He's out 6 to 8 weeks after surgery on his meniscus. That's very unfortunate for Zion and all NBA fans. He was going to be a sight to see, and we're going to have to wait for this first overall pick to make his debut. Now for the second game, the Clippers versus the Lakers, a matchup everyone was looking forward to see. The Clippers are going to be the team to beat this year. They had a very good team. They have key role players. They have a great defense with leading with Kawhi Leonard. They had a great team without Paul George this week, and that was still a great team to watch. The difference between the Lakers and Clippers is not their number 1 and 2 players, because both teams have great number 1 and 2 players. It's their number 3 and 4 players. The Clippers role players and the Clippers 3 and 4 players are a lot better than the Lakers. And if the Lakers want to win or compete in a 7-game series against the Clippers, Rockets, Warriors, they're going to need to get some more role players, at least one other really good role player. And that's the only way the Lakers are going to be able to compete this year. They have LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to do really good. They're going to get into the playoffs, but they're not going to be able to compete in a 7-game series. Okay, let me move over to the Euro duo in Dallas. Yes, Luka and Porzingis lived up to the hype. They were great. They had great chemistry, and they played very well together. It was a strange feeling not having Dirk on the court, but this is a new era in basketball for Dallas, and it's looking like it's going to be it's looking like it's going to be a bright future for the Mavericks. Okay, in the game stats, Luka had 34 points, 9 rebounds. He was 1 point shy of his career best, his career high. Porzingis had 23 points, 4 rebounds, and Maxi Kleber and Dorian Finney-Smith tied for the second rebounds with eight rebounds apiece. And the Mavs took the win 108-100 over the Wizards. Now I'm going to go over the NFL highlights and scores, starting with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers went absolutely video game style on the Raiders. Packers won 42-24. The Chargers suffered a devastating loss to the Titans, 23-20. Melvin Gordon fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line to seal the game for the Titans. The Saints continue to roll with backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater and take a win over the Bears, 36-25. The Patriots demolished the Jets in a 33-0 victory. The score from this game isn't the most interesting detail. The most interesting takeaway from this game was Bill Belichick. Towards the beginning of the fourth, the Patriots were facing a fourth down, and they had a lot of time left in the clock, and they were still up big. Bill Belichick decides to take a delay of game penalty to give his kicker some more space, some more room to play with the ball. A lot of teams do this nowadays. They try to take that delay of game penalty, back them up 5 yards to give the kicker a little bit, and opposing coaches typically accept or decline this penalty wherever they think this ball possession of the ball is going to benefit them best. Well, Bill Belichick takes the delay of game penalty. Adam Gase, the head coach of the Jets, he declines the penalty. So Bill Belichick, he sits there and he takes then he does a false start, and then Adam Gase, he declines the penalty again, and that might be Adam Gase's feel-good way of having his only win of the game. He might have felt, oh, I won this battle. But no. In the little bitty details you see when Adam Gase declines that penalty, the Patriots line up on the ball again, the clock runs. Then they have a false start. He declines the penalty, the clock runs. Without running a single play, Bill Belichick and the Patriots took off nearly 2 minutes from the clock without running a play. That is Bill Belichick's intelligence, his football knowledge. After the game, he was quoted saying something along the lines of, "Yeah, it's a loophole in the system, and we're using it until it gets this loophole gets fixed." And it's crazy to think, why would Bill Belichick use that trick against the Jets in a regular season game when he's winning 33-0? Is this something for the future that you're thinking? Is this setting another team up for something? Is it going to make coaches in the future think a lot more whenever Bill Belichick takes a delay of game penalty? I don't know what his future motive is, but you always know that Bill Belichick is thinking of something in the future. He's always 2 steps ahead of everyone. And what's his next plan? Okay, now I'd like to talk about the Cowboys and Eagles game on Sunday night. That was a great overall game played by the Dallas Cowboys. They finally kicked it into gear. They, if you watched last week's episode, you heard me talk about what the Cowboys needed to do. And a lot of the stuff I mentioned, they did. They did more bootleg. They did more 2-back sets. They gave Zeke the ball in the right time. They didn't give it to him up the middle when everybody was expecting it. When everybody was expecting it, they did bootleg. They did play action. They did. Dak was able to call an audible. They did everything they needed to do. Their defense played terrific. Everybody that wasn't showing up showed up. DeMarcus Lawrence showed up. The linebackers showed up. The cornerbacks showed up. They had an overall great game, and I'm very proud to say it. I hope they continue to do what they were trying to do. Especially with their 2-back sets with Tony Pollard. You got to see him a little bit more in the game, and whenever he comes into the game, I feel like the Cowboys are doing just have a better offensive play calling ability, just because of all the variety of plays that they could do with him on the field. He's a very elusive player. He breaks a lot of tackles. He makes plays happen. I remember him at the very beginning of the year. Whenever they asked Tony Pollard, what are you? Are you a wide receiver or are you a running back? He said, I'm a playmaker. And I like that. He is a great football player. And I want to see more of him. He probably can't take the workload that Zeke might be able to. But he is a great football player. He needs to be on the field as much as possible. And the receivers for the Cowboys did very well. I think Cooper had an over 100-yard game. The only thing I want to see more out of my receivers is Michael Gallup. He had a great start to the year. The first 3 weeks, he had the most receptions. And nowadays, he's kind of dropping the ball a little bit. He's getting a little lazy. But I do believe that's going to come around for the Cowboys more. So the Cowboys have a bye week in Week 8 this upcoming week, and to prepare for the Giants in Week 9. So coming out Week 9, I want to see the same thing. I want to see play action. I want to see deep passes. I want to see Pollard 2-back sets. I want to see Tavon Austin. They're a very deadly team when you involve all that stuff, and especially whenever you take into account that deadly defense of theirs. They are great on the other side of the ball, and I can't wait to see them throughout this season.